Hello there, everybody. It's Skip Clark. It is the Inner Harbor Cast, 92.1 The Wolf. Thank you for tuning in and watching a great show. If you're watching this before the 6th of January, this is the guy you're going to see at the Lost Horizon. A lot of talk about Sam Grow. And Sam, thank you so much for joining us today. It's so good to see you, man.
Man, good to see you too. Thank you for having me, Skip. I appreciate you very, very much.
Yeah, right back at you. Where is home for you? You say you're just outside Nashville, but before growing up, you're from the Northeast, right?
Yeah, so I was born in Maryland,
Okay.
uh, and raised in a little town called Winfield, Kansas. And and then my dad, he took a job. My dad was a lineman. He worked on power lines across the
Mhm,
country.
mhm.
And when I was about 12, he Hurricane Isabel came up the East Coast and ripped up a bunch of power lines. So my dad retook a job in Maryland. So we moved back and I lived there for a little while, and then I've been in Nashville for almost 10 years now.
You know, they say it's a 10-year town. This could be your
Yeah,
time. This could
I,
be it, dude.
from your lips to God.
I love it. Hey, so have you been through the Syracuse at all? Have you been through here?
I have, and I love it. The funny thing is, man, is the first time I came to Syracuse and like the upstate New York area, I was on tour with Kelly Pickler,
Mm.
and I was terrified because I didn't think anybody in New York was going to be into country music at all. So I was riding the ride thinking, man, they are gonna hate me for sure. They'll like her because at least she's pretty, but and we got there and I had never seen more camo in my entire life. And
Yeah.
it's just some of the greatest people in upstate New York. So now we go there as much as we can.
Yeah. That's so cool. We did a show with Kelly a while ago. I don't think you're on the bill though. A lot of years ago. Um, I remember that very well. I'll have to look up my pictures at when we get off here. But yeah, definitely some good stuff. So you're coming to town this weekend, and you're going to be rocking out a place they call the Lost Horizon.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your show.
So we started doing this thing in 2020 when they try to take our jobs away. I stayed at home. I was a good boy. I stayed at home and listened for about the 45-day measure that they first put out. And I shot every gun I owned and caught every fish that I wanted to catch in my pond. It was glorious for a while there. And then I got super bored. So in 2020, I looked up all the state regulations. And even in like the really strict Northeast states, you could still have 10 people over in your backyard to hang out.
Mhm.
So I called my manager and I was like, hey, man, I'm going to go and play at people's houses. And he laughed and he was like, we had just got off of our bus tour and all that. And he goes, you going to pull your tour bus up to people's houses? And I was like, no, that would look ridiculous. I'd look like I'm remodeling homes or something. I said, I'm just going to drive my truck.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody is going to want to book that. He said, but if they do, I'm happy to help you. And so I did what any grown man would do and posted a Facebook status and posted the status. And within 4 hours, I had 33 shows in 17 states. And he asked how many I wanted to book. And I said all of them. So in 2020, we played 87 shows from California all the way back across the East Coast, all acoustic, all in people's backyards. And it was one of like the most enjoyable times I've had in my career. So then when things started to open back up, it's a waiting list and we would sell out. Thank you, Lord. And so when people wouldn't be able to have us come and play acoustic at their house, they were like, will you please just bring and play a few public shows? So then in 2021, we started doing these acoustic public shows and selling them out. People wanted to come and see that kind of vibe. So now every year at the first of the year, it's just me and my guitar player, and we travel around and play acoustic. I tell all the stories of the songs and play the songs intimate and really create a connection with.
You know what? You proved them wrong by going to the, doing that tour and hitting up the backyards. And you're not the only artist that has done that. And they said they loved every bit of it. We had just to throw a name out, Drew Baldridge, very
Yeah.
good guy, very good friend. he did the same thing. He goes, we had him here for a show about a couple of months ago now. And he was like, I've been here before. I played in a town called Tully. I played in backyards. I'm going, are you kidding me? He goes,
Yeah,
no, I've been all through here. And he did the exact same thing.
yeah, man.
It's
It
cool.
it's an amazing experience, and it does create a different kind of friendship and connection with the people who already listen to your music. I mean, we're already blessed in the fact that people allow our music to be in their life, everyday life, and then to be able to be welcomed into their actual homes and
Yeah.
learn about their family and meet their friends and learn all their stories. As a songwriter, it's amazing because I get to draw inspiration from all that, and then the travel and just the reconnection. I really feel like I have hundreds of friends across the country now that
Yeah.
you I know on a personal level.
So you write all of your songs, correct?
Mm, I do.
Everything that you perform is something that Sam Grow has written.
Yes, I do have some outside. I have two outside cuts that I've cut in my career, and it was my very, very good friends that pitched it. Um, and the current song that we're working right now is called Loretta, and
Mhm.
that by my buddy Johnny Gates. He wrote it by himself, and the minute I heard the hook, I was personally attached to it, and I was lucky enough he let me record it.
Yeah. Now that's a tribute to Loretta Lynn, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's cool.
definitely a tip of the hat to her, and
Yeah.
ever heard anybody describe heartbreak like that before? Johnny's hook in the song, was "I miss you like the radio misses Loretta Lynn," and I thought, wow, what a beautiful way to describe sadness.
That's
So
awesome, though.
I love now. Luckily, it gets to be a part of my career, and I can play it every night. So selfishly, I'm really pumped that he let me cut that song.
You've got a new project. You're going to drop it pretty quick here, right? In the next couple of weeks?
January 19th, a brand new album called Avalon Avenue.
Avalon Avenue. I saw it posted. I'm going, this is going to be really good. And I was listening to some of the tunes before we went on with the cameras and all that today. And it's like, wow. I said, why isn't this guy on the radio? But then again, I think, wow, look at the success that you're having. You're selling out these venues. And
Yeah.
why do you think that is, Sam?
I've been so blessed that we live in a world now where people are more curious about new music than they've ever been. And there's so many different avenues for people to discover new artists and music, and then they become extremely passionate
Right.
in that. And that's been my story. People find me by listening to somebody else, and then they find my music and they feel like they've got this little secret, and they share it with their friends, and it's just turned into this little niche of a club of people who listen to my music. And I've been so blessed to get other opportunities to go and play with other artists that again give me an opportunity to share the stage with them, and then their friends leave that show, and it's been just a little uh, grind of a club, just an underground thing. And I never did music to be like famous. I never did it to for the glitter. I've always just wanted my goal always, my prayer has always been just to be able to make music for a living job. So I've just been happy living in this area now, being able to write songs, put them out and make a great living at it.
Gotta love that too. What are you sitting in right now? Is that a Chevy?
Yeah, this is actually my Chevy's in the driveway, but uh and it's funny because that's the truck I do my backyards and bonfires in. But sitting in my wife's Ford Bronco right now.
Oh, nice. What year?
This is a 2022.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a nice ride, man. It's the Outer Banks version, and we
Yeah.
go to North Carolina every year for a family vacation, and we've actually got to test out the sand mode that this thing does, and it's pretty sweet. It's pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
we've done that. You get down on the Outer Banks and
Yeah.
you could go up to, was it Corolla? Where you
Yep.
go to where there's all these homes and the fire department is there and there's humongous, beautiful homes, but
Yeah.
everything is sand and the wild horses. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
You normally, if you're just riding in something normal, you have to let a little bit of the air out of the tires to ride out beach. But luckily in this thing, you don't. You can just pop it in sand mode and it's ready to go, which is pretty
That's sweet. It is sweet. You graduated from the, I remember the van to the tour bus,
yeah.
and that happened a few years ago, which is pretty cool. Now you don't have to worry about taking the, the vehicles on the road or anything like that. You got, and do you have like the, well, is it just you in the tour bus, or do you have your guitar player, the rest of the band?
My so when we tour acoustics, just me and my guitar player, and
Cool.
Brad comes along. He does, he's my manager, but when we do the acoustic stuff, he loves to come out on the road with us and
Mhm.
explore. It's just a lot more freedom when you're just traveling with a few guys and doing acoustic stuff,
I've known, I've known Brad for quite a few years, and
Extremely high of you as well.
yeah, he's definitely a good guy, a radio guy. And I feel when I talk to artists like you, me being on the other side of it, on the radio side, and I hear of artists that have brought on board, I shouldn't say like seasoned radio professionals, they get it. They know where to take you. They know what to do. They know how to handle radio because they've been there, as opposed to the opposite. So
Oh man, honestly, that was the most organic relationship that I've ever had in my career. Brad, he found me on YouTube
mhm.
and playing me, and this was back when I first moved to town, like 2017. He found my music, ripped it off of YouTube, started playing it, and I was an independent artist charting in the top 50 because high ranked station and put me in full rotation. So he just took a chance on me when he didn't even know me.
That's
And
cool.
we became really good buddies. And then when the time came that I needed a manager, they were kind of shopping me around to some of the big managements in town. And I was like, I don't know these people. And, like
True.
if
Yeah.
if they're picking a phone call, choosing between me or Brantley Gilbert, I sure hope they're going to pick the phone up for Brantley. They're not like, so I no offense, I love that, but
Mhm, mhm.
I'd like it to be somebody that, is kind of a champion, and luckily Brad was, you know, radio has had such a shakeup, man, and, he was leaving the station and he was about to go to Boise, Idaho, because Brad's kind of one of those guys that whenever stations were doing bad, they hire him and then he makes them number 1
Yeah,
station.
yeah, yeah. That's what they do.
So he was getting ready to go, and I called him and I was like, "Do you really want to go to Boise, Idaho?" And he was like, "No." And he goes, "I don't know anything about management." I was like, "Sure, just pretend I'm one of your like terrible radio stations and, act like that, like n- take those terrible stations, figure out a way to make them number 1, help me do the same thing."
Mhm.
And so he did. He sold his house and he moved down to Tennessee, and we've been partners ever since.
There you go. It's average Joe's, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Didn't
Yep.
they, was back in the day, was Montgomery Gentry on Average Joe's? I think they were, and I think Low Cash might have been on Average
Yep.
Joe's.
With Tony Morial behind them.
Yes, that's it, Tony.
And I
Yes.
love Tony too. Everybody loves
Yep.
Tony.
Good
Yeah.
guy, good guy. Sam, how would you describe your music for somebody that doesn't even know who you are, but they're watching this, or why should they come out and see you and all that? How would you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I love country music because of the storytelling. So all my songs possess the storytelling thing. My dad, grew up listening to classic country and also soul music as well. So I listened up grew up listening to that stuff, and then also he introduced me to a lot of southern rock. So I'm a blend of anything, a good storytelling song with some rock and roll guitars and a little bit of soul as well. I'm a birth product of that smorgasbord of music that my dad had me listen to.
So, when did you start first playing guitar? How old were you?
I was, I guess, 12 or 13 years old is the first time, and I actually had to borrow a guitar from a friend and
Cool.
prove to my dad that I was going to put in the work ethic to learn it. My dad's super blue collar. Spending money was not something that you just did on a whim. So I had to learn some songs and play him some songs. And then after he saw that I was going to be serious with it, he went and bought me a guitar. And then I started playing in the bars at 13, because he would convince the bartenders to let his son come in on off nights and play for tips. And
That's awesome.
I
That's
just felt,
It's a story that I've heard many times. And
Yeah.
that's what gets you to where you are today. If you weren't doing music, what do you think you'd be doing?
If I wasn't doing music, I'd probably be a lineman. I
Yeah.
love watching my dad go and chase power lines and the excitement of a storm and going out there and working, with a team setting, but also it's just a different kind of work and a different kind of adrenaline. So I love bucket trucks. I loved being 90 feet in the air. He'd take me up there when I was a kid and raise me up in bucket trucks, and I love that. So probably that.
Yeah, I know there is a thrill to that. Not that I was ever in a bucket truck like that, but I was a fireman for a lot of years.
Oh,
And
that's
we in our we had platforms take you up 85, 90 feet.
Man, thank you so much for what you did, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Not
it.
doing it now, but I appreciate everybody that is doing it.
Yeah.
And yes, it was a lot of fun and quite the experience. But getting back to it, it's all about you. This weekend, Lost Horizon, the place is going to be rocking, even though it's acoustic. You just look like that guy that's really going to let loose. I mean, I'm looking
Oh,
at the tats, I'm looking at the rings. I mean, dude, so cool.
yeah, we try to make it still very interactive and upbeat. It's not me just playing a bunch of sad tunes.
Right.
I still want everybody to have a good time and enjoy it and interact. And that's the best part about these acoustic shows is I feel like if I can take a moment and talk to the audience and have them talk back to me, that's part of the fun and the enjoyment of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've already been told this. The more you do that, the more your fan base builds
Oh yeah.
because you establish a relationship with your fans or with the people that are at these shows, and they're never going to forget you. So
Yeah. Completely different experience. And it's something that I enjoy much more than the bigger shows, to be honest. When you do the big shows, you don't feel like you get to have that connection with the audience, and that's what I love and am addicted to now of these acoustic shows is just being able to have more of a personal experience with the people who care enough. Like I said, I'm so blessed that they want to let my music be in their life. So to be able to have to talk to them about that and hang with them after the show and not be on some tight schedule or be a part of some festival where you get swooped away after 2 minutes of talking to someone. I just like the freedom that these shows allow.
I love that. I love that. I got to ask, how many tattoos?
Oh, so many.
I only got a couple. I mean, but
Yeah,
still,
I'm
and
sleeved on both arms, so
yeah,
it's
that's
it's
cool.
a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of tattoos.
A lot of meaning in those
Yeah.
tats
Oh,
too.
one means something for sure.
Now, when they did the one on the back of the hand that I can see on the camera, did that hurt because it's so close to the bone?
Honestly, the hand tats are a little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
The week
Okay.
after you have them, you don't have knuckles for a few days because your up so much, so it's just you just look like a cankle of a hand, honestly.
Ah,
Uh, so that's a little uncomfortable after a while, but man, worth it. I love
yeah.
these.
It
Uh,
looks good, man. It looks
thank
good.
thank
Some
you.
may disagree with us, but I think it looks good. Not a
Yeah.
problem. I just have a couple, but you
Well,
know,
the first tattoo I ever got was on my hand, which is this treble clef. Because
okay.
I was in a business class, and my teacher told me that if you ever got a tattoo past the collar of a long sleeve shirt, you'd never be able to work in corporate America.
Oh,
So
please.
one of my first tattoos I got was a music note on my hand, so I would never have to work for corporate.
Good thinking, Sam. I like it.
Yeah,
I like your way of thinking. That's pretty cool. So we're looking forward to seeing you this weekend here in Syracuse. If you watch this between now and Saturday, make sure you get your tickets. It's at the Lost Horizon. I think tickets were only like 15 or $10.
yeah.
$10.
Last minute ad of a show. We
Yeah,
were lucky that they saw we were up there and they just wanted to throw us on a show. So, uh,
perfect.
tickets gonna be a fun night, and I'd love to meet some new people.
Absolutely. It's Sam Grow. Sam, thanks for hanging out in the White Bronco and having a little bit of it. I don't, does she know you're even in it? She's going to go,
Oh,
what are you doing in
yeah.
my car?
She,
Talking about that. So do you have any kids?
I do.
You
I do.
do.
Yeah. Have a couple. I have 2 girls.
Oh, awesome. I have 3 girls and I have
Oh,
1 boy.
God
And
bless.
my daughters are grown and they've given me grandkids, but there's something about having a daughter that's just, I mean, you love them all, don't get me
Oh,
wrong, but, daddy's girl. So,
that's right, man. There's a different connection between a little girl and a dad for sure.
yeah, you don't want anybody to mess with daddy's girl.
That's right.
And they got somebody to, yeah, somebody's going to be paying for it. So
That's right.
I hear you, brother. Hey, I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. and do my best to get out to the show. And is Brad coming along?
Oh yeah, he'll be there. You
Uh,
got to. He'll
I'm
be
gonna.
there. See ya.
I love it. All right, we'll see you there. Sam Grow. It's Cigars and Bars is the name of the tour, the acoustic tour, Cigars and Bars. Make sure you check out the music. If somebody wants to check out your music right now, where can they go?
Anywhere they stream it or listen to it, I'm on all platforms. Wherever they like to hear me, I'm on there.
You're awesome. Sam, it's a pleasure talking to you. We've never talked before. I enjoyed this very much.
Thanks.
Definitely going to see you this weekend and safe travels to the Cuse. Dress warm. We haven't had any snow yet. Well, a couple of inches, but it's really weird when it comes to the weather.
There's
So,
something coming, man, but I think we're gonna just miss it. So,
yeah, I think so. They said something was coming up the coast. I have no idea.
but I'll be honest with you, I love y'all's chicken wings, man. So if I get stuck up there a couple extra days, I'm cool with it.
Hey, if you're in the area, I'll get you hooked up for wings. So
Come
you don't have
on,
to worry about that. All right. We'll talk. We'll talk when you get here. I love it, my friend. All right, Sam Grow, thanks for joining us on the Inner Harbor Cast with 92.1 today. We look forward to hearing more of your music. Hopefully, we can get some of that on the air for you as well. It's going to be so cool. Like I said in the beginning, I believe it was on the podcast. It's a 10-year town. You've been there 10 years. Baby, it's your turn. It's your
man.
time.
From your lips to God, man. I appreciate it.
There you go. Sam Grow, thanks so much, man.
Thank you,
Peace.
brother.
Stay right there. All right.